Yo, what's up? Okay, back on this. It's been so long. Back on this channel, we're gonna do a ranking of the Pokemon games, the main ones. They're on the screen here. I ordered them from this tier list. I think in chronological order from when they were released, and I'm gonna rank them. Not Minecraft event related today. We're doing Pokemon because I don't know if you've noticed, but there's not that much going on. There's a reason I haven't been able to make Moko Mills that actively, and the summer is going to be awful. There's going to be no events, so we do Pokemon ranking today. Okay, here we go. So, for those of you who don't know, I like Pokemon a lot. I've played a good amount of Pokemon. I started playing Pokemon in Gen 4, which was Diamond and Pearl era when these games came out. So I have played, the majority of the games I've played are from Diamond and Pearl onwards. I have not played some of the early ones, including, I think I never played base game Yellow, Red, Blue, Gold, Silver, Crystal, Ruby, or Sapphire. I have played Emerald. I've played Fire Red, Leaf Green as like a combined thing. So one of them, they're like the same to me. I don't know which one of the. I think it's the Fire Red version technically, so I've never played Leaf Green. I don't think I've. I think I'm actually no. I have played Diamond. I played. I've played Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, both of them I think before. I've played. What's it called? Black and White. I think I got Black Pokemon Black. When I played it when I was younger with my best friend at the time. I don't think I've ever played Pokemon White, but maybe I have emulated it, so probably have. They're the same anyways, right? It doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to call that one, and then Heart Gold Soul Silver is kind of the same as well, and I think I played Soul Silver the first time I got to play it. Diamond and Pearl kind of the same thing, and I definitely played Pearl the first time. So just to make sure I get one of each. Black 2, White 2, I think I played Black 2 because I already had Reshiram. No, actually, no, because I never bought the game, but I did emulate it. So one of the two I played, I don't remember which one it was. I think it might have been White 2, actually. It would have been White 2 because I would have thought about Black 2, White 2, whatever. X and Y, I played both versions. I did get Y to start. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I've never played, actually. So I need to do that at some point. Sun and Moon, I had Sun. I have played both. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, I had Ultra... Ooh, I don't remember which one I had. I'll just say Ultra Moon, probably. Sword and Shield, I had Sword. Arceus I've played, and then Scarlet Violet, I had Scarlet. So that's all the games that I've either never played or we are only looking at one of the two, so it's kind of the same tier, right? So that's that taken care of. We don't have to worry about all those games anymore. So we're going to be able to rank 13 games from S to C tier. I'll give my thoughts on the games in order of... I'll do it in order of when I played them, I think, because that'll give a little fun extra story. Starting off with Pokemon Pearl. I'm just going to put it here for now. First game I ever played, and it was fun. Good game. I think Pokemon Pearl is the most nostalgic Pokemon game for me personally, or more so Pearl and Platinum. I think Platinum's low-key more nostalgic to me now, but like Pearl and Platinum are both... Gen 4, just base Gen 4, is the most nostalgic Pokemon to me because that's literally the first Pokemon game I played. I like know almost everything for that game. The game does have some like balancing issues. Fire types aren't that prominent. Gym leader teams are kind of weird. Platinum fixes a lot of these issues. So it's still a good game though. Like I really enjoy just the whole format of Diamond and Pearl. So I'd say this is probably like a good A, maybe B tier. I'm gonna have to think about the rest of the games. I think I'd probably put this in A. And then after that, I would have played Heart Gold Soul Silver probably before I played Platinum. I think I just don't think I would have played Platinum that quickly afterwards. I think I played Heart Gold Soul Silver after I played Pearl, but I could be wrong. Because Pearl had been out maybe already, or it just came out. One of the two. Heart Gold Soul Silver though I think is very good. I don't know if it is S tier. because I mean it's very very good, but regardless, I don't think any Pokemon game is like genuinely bad. That's why like C mid tier is the lowest it gets. I think I'd move these down. I think this would be like, because I'm holding this to a very high standard. This is like 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, and 7 out of 10, right? Pretty much. Pearl's good, but it has balancing issues. Heart Gold Soul Silver is also very good, but one thing I really don't love about Heart Gold Soul Silver is I think the Johto Dex is really weak. There are very nostalgic mons in there, right? Of course, they're the second ever generation. I think the Dex you have to work with for Johto is really weak, and not really the most like interesting to me. I think it's kind of a lackluster pool of Pokemon to me personally. So I would say it's like A tier, not S tier. I think that's a major thing that holds it back. I think it's a very very good game. Then I would have played Platinum. Platinum I think is my definitive favorite Pokemon game I've ever played. I think it is really good. I love Gen 4, and this fixes pretty much all the issues that needed to be fixed with Gen 4. It is excellent. Probably actually say that this is a better ranking. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Platinum's perfect. I love Pokemon Platinum. It's fantastic. All right, then to put it into perspective, Emerald and Fire Red, I've played through playing Poke MMO. So that would have been after this would have been before Sword and Shield. This would have been, I think, after Sun and Moon is when I played Poke MMO. So I think that would be roughly when I played those games. I think every other game I played just in order. So then Pokemon White. Actually, no, this would have been emulated, so this would have been later as well. This is like here, low-key. Okay, there you go. So Pokemon Black, fantastic game. I do think one thing I don't like super love about Pokemon Black and White and that whole series is that you have a very restrictive dex again, right? I like that they introduced a bunch of mons, and I like kind of the idea of like Gens 1 through 4 is its own chapter, and Gen 5 onwards, or maybe Gen 5 is just like its own standalone thing. If you don't know, Generation 1 introduced like 151 Pokemon. I think Generation 5 introduced 156, I want to say, like around 150, with the idea of it being kind of a reboot of Pokemon. I think one thing also about Gen 5's Dex is that because it's supposed to, or trying to be a reboot, you kind of see it like imitate Gen 1 to an extent. There are Pokemon in there that kind of feel like they are supposed to serve the same role as others have in the past. Of course, this applies across the board, right? With, Pika clones and a bunch of generations and the birds and stuff. But Gen 5 has this quite a bit. I do think it's at least A tier, and I think it's definitely better than Pearl, in my opinion. As an experience as a whole, I think Black and White story-wise is one of the strongest ones, if not the strongest one you get out of the entire Pokemon series. Do I like playing Heart and Gold or Heart Gold Soul Silver more than Pokemon Black? I don't know. I think these are very on par for me. I think I am gonna drag Pokemon Pearl down. I think these are very good. I like those a lot. Okay. I think this is probably what I would do. No, Gen 5's Dex is more fun to work with than Gen 2's Dex, so this is probably accurate. Then next up is Pokemon Y. This is, I think, honestly, probably the second most played game for me out of any of these. Maybe. I played X and Y, like... No, actually, no, I'm completely lying. Have I played X and Y that much? I played both X and Y separately. I think I played Pokemon Y the most with my friend. So it actually probably is the second most played game for me. Is in, like, on console. I think I think Emerald or like Fire Red, Leaf Green may have caught up from me playing stuff on my PC, but this is definitely like the second most played console version I've ever played of Pokemon. Pokemon Y is good. I haven't played Gen 6 in a long ass time. I need to revisit that at some point, but it's a good game. Definitely doesn't come close to Pokemon Platinum though, and I even think Black and White and Heart Gold Soul Silver are definitively better, but I do like what Pokemon Y has to offer. Gen 6 introduces like Fairy type, which I think is an interesting thing that's thrown into the mix for Pokemon. I think you have, because this is not the final generation before they split the national decks, but it is one of the later ones. You have a very wide range of Mons available, which I think is fun. So I'd probably put it like there. If I had to guess, it's kind of hard to really properly rank though, because I just haven't played it in so long. So honestly, I don't know. Maybe I'd put it there. I'd probably put it there. I think this is a good game though. I need to revisit it at some point. So yeah, very, very interesting, very fun. Pokemon Sun up next. I think this will be one of the C tier ones. I think Gen 7 is like overhated. I think people are sometimes a bit too critical of it. But personally, I just haven't really felt the urge to revisit it anytime soon. I like how they wanted to try and change up the format, right, of Pokemon a little bit. Take away the gyms, add kahunas and totems, etc. Make things a bit more different that way. But I just think as a complete package, it didn't sell like the idea of a sick Pokemon game too well. Still, keep in mind, C tier 7 out of 10 in my opinion. Like these tiers are not like a huge gap. This is just like an easy way to put it. I still think this is a good game. I would 100% play it again at some point. It's just like I feel like Sun and Moon, just as much as it gets you so many options for a decks and stuff, I think it's just like it's good. It's just good, but like the others are better. Ultra Sun and Moon, I think are they better? They do make the game a bit more interesting. I think they because they introduced the Rainbow Rocket thing. You have Ultra Necrozma fight and all that, right? You have the Glip Glorp alien fellas and stuff that kind of spice things up a bit more. It is a harder game because of some of the like boss challenges in it. But it's kind of similar to just Ultra Sun and Moon, or regular Sun and Moon. I just don't find it like I don't find the game that appealing. I think I like having gyms and stuff just more than having totems and kahunas and stuff, in my personal opinion. So that's that. So every game here so far is from the DS or 3DS era. I kind of group those in together because this era of DS and 3DS is for me like primary school and middle school pretty much combined, which is where I was most actively playing with some of my IRLs in like in person, right? This is kind of the era of when I played games in person with my friends to then going from playing games online with my friends. So that's kind of a fun little package, right? That's all the DS and 3DS games. Besides this one, yeah, very fun. I mean, I have fond memories of these. I need to revisit some of these at some point. I've played. I want to say I played one of these games recently. What did I do? I played I played Pokemon Sword at some point, so that's not the right game that I revisited. But some of the 3DS ones I have not played recently. I've played Heart Gold Soul Silver recently. I've definitely played Platinum recently. Black and White, I think I've only revisited. No, I've played them in PokeMMO. Same with Heart Gold Soul Silver. So I've played all of the like actual DS games I've played recently. Just the 3DS ones that I need to revisit at some point because emulation with 3DS is a little bit scuffed compared to the regular DS. So yeah, and I don't trust my 3DS to boot up anymore at this point. Anyways, next up, Emerald and Fire Red. So I've only played these games through the lens of... Actually, no. I played Emerald solo, but I first played both of these games through the lens of PokeMMO, which is like an online multiplayer thingy that you can kind of play Pokemon with your friends, but it's mostly just like everyone plays solo, but you are in the same room, kind of like Tomb Titans. If PokeMMO is like Tomb Titans, everyone actually technically plays solo, but you're also technically playing together. Is kind of the idea. And I mean, Emerald and Fire Red are just iconic. I would say that these two games have to be up there, at least in A tier, and I would put them kind of at the top. Could be a nostalgia thing, possibly. Let me like really think about this. Gen 1 I think is just really, really solid. I really like the freedom you get in the mid game. I'm kind of surprised they give you that much freedom in the mid game to kind of pick your own path. It's from like gyms 4 to 6. I think you can kind of do whatever. I think there's no definitive order you need to do. Is it right? I think so. Something like that. You can do a lot in between all of those, which is fun. This is also the game I've played most recently. Fire Red and Leaf Green I've played most recently on PokeMMO, and I think it's been fun. I do think my opinion of these games is a bit skewed because in PokeMMO they slightly alter the encounter table and stuff like that. So that does kind of make things maybe more appealing because they kind of rebalance certain things. So maybe some of the things in Fire Red are by default a bit worse. But I do think I'd probably like, if I had to pick like which games, if I was forced to play a game right now, and it's purely based off of like my favorite games that I would want to play right now, I'd 100% put Fire Red at number 2. Playing Gen 1 again. Gen 1's just a classic. It's really fun. I do think Pokemon Black would be up there. I would probably say I'd want to play Heart Gold, Soul Silver more than Emerald right now. Emerald, ironically, Emerald I think is a really good game, but I'm a little fatigued from it because every like modified version or custom region is based off of Emerald pretty much, right? That's kind of the base they use for making custom games. So a lot of that type of stuff, a lot of the games you'll see like YouTubers make content about, for example, the randomized map stuff is usually Emerald, so I've seen Emerald a lot. But it is a very good classic game. I think it's very good. I would probably say it is pretty accurate in that spot so far. Though from like a playing standpoint, I think Emerald gives you a bit more freedom for maybe a fun team. I think yeah, like a little bit. I'd say it's probably there. That's probably accurate, maybe. I don't know. I like it though. It's these are both good games. I just have a bit more nostalgia towards this, so that's why I would maybe rank it higher. Because it's just it's just the second game or like one of the first versions of Pokemon I've ever played, right? So that's why I like it a lot. I'll keep it like that. Then now we get into the like Switch era to an extent. They're gonna, this will come later. So this would have been 2020, right? 2019, something like that. I played this game online with my friends. Me and a group of IRL friends played this online. Different group, by the way, of friends from this from the DS and 3DS era. With like a little bit of overlap. But Sword, I most recently played out of all the Switch games. I think the game is good. I cannot rate it any higher than like a B. I think the game is good. I do think that I also played it in a challenge mode, so I guess I don't really get to speak on the diversity of mons that are available. I think in terms of design, like Gen 8 is a little bit lackluster. It gives me kind of Gen 2 vibes in terms of the starters, and then in terms of the like actual pool of mons that are available, like it's fine. I don't think it's like great. I think it's solid. So I think overall that just kind of means your roster ends up being solid. I would say I'd probably rate it here. I think that's pretty fair, all things considered. Then Black and White 2. I mean, it's Black and White again, right? I'm gonna be so honest. I kind of don't really remember too much from this. I might need to also revisit this game at some point and just play it normally. I may have actually only played Black and White 2 randomized, which I might need to just play the game normally. I'm gonna say Black and White 2 would probably be in B. I don't know if it's better than Black and White default. I'd say it probably should be better, right? I just don't remember anything about it, so I have no clue. What even is different? I think in Black and White, you have Iris as a dragon leader, and then Iris is the champion in Black and White 2 or something, right? That's kind of all I know about it. So this is kind of a bad rating, like part for me, because I don't remember much about Black and White 2. So I would honestly maybe revisit it and then update this list maybe. But I think it's very very good game still. Like it's a good one. But just from what I recall, I would say Black and White default is better. Is it? I mean, yeah, I'd say so maybe. The format that I'm most familiar with for Black and White is just the Black and White 1-1, because Black and White 2 has like Charon as your first gym leader, then Bianca as like a professor, I think, or something, right? There's like a poison leader in there now. I like the structure of the first one more, even though I don't like the monkeys and stuff, and the first gym leader is kind of a bum. No matter which one you pick, Chillin or the other guys, Cress I think is one of them. It's just like whatever. So yeah, that's pretty accurate. I'd say honestly, nah. Black and White I think has more to offer than just Base Pearl, but Base Pearl's still really good. I don't think the order of these is like that important. It's just like, it's probably that. Yeah. All right, Legends Arceus, fantastic. I loved playing Legends Arceus. I think it's a super unique approach to Pokemon game, of course, right? Something that people kind of have been wanting to see for so long, and they finally delivered on it. Do I think it's S tier though? What would I say there's like a downside of Arceus? I think I've never played Arceus again, which I guess is maybe, and I've never really had the incentive to redo all of Arceus. I think for a one-time playthrough, Arceus is fantastic. I think Legends Arceus is maybe some of the best Pokemon you could get for a one-time playthrough for your first time. Maybe not first time playing Pokemon, because it's a bad first impression of the entire franchise. But it's a really good game. I think if I were to play it again now, I'd be fine. I think if I were to want to play the game like more, like sooner in succession, I'd probably not be like that big of a fan of doing it again. But like the gameplay is very fun. I think I'd put it in A. I think Legends Arceus I would rank here. It's kind of a weird spot to maybe put it, or like I'll put it here. I'll put it there. I think all these games are a bit better. And then finally, you have Scarlet and Violet, the most recent Pokemon games, except for Legends ZA, which is coming at some point soon in like 2025, and then Gen 10 probably coming 2026. Scarlet and Violet's probably my second favorite Switch game of Pokemon. I think Sword and Shield's my least favorite. Arceus is probably my favorite. Scarlet Violet was like solid. I think they did a lot of things decently well. I know the game itself as a complete package is pretty bad in terms of like polish and code quality, but I think the game is fun. I don't think I could justify putting it in the same tier here though, so I'd probably put it in C. Which is kind of a bummer, seeing that like a lot of the newer content's at the bottom. All right, Gen 9, 8, and 7 in its entirety is at the bottom, besides Arceus, I guess. But yeah, I also liked in Arceus how they introduced like the newer evolutions and newer forms and stuff from old Pokemon. They made me like Lilligant because of the new form. Or like they gave Sneasel some more appeal, which I think is good, although I liked Weavile already. Zorua was already a sick Pokemon, but now they have a normal ghost version of Zorua and Zoroark, and it looks awesome. Like beautiful selection of new additions. Ursaluna, of course, also like an absolute beast. Not the biggest fan of Enamorus, but I think it's a great, introduces a great pool of content into all of Pokemon. So that's my ranking, I guess, for Pokemon games. I'll zoom in case it wasn't that easy to read the entire time. Platinum is my definitive favorite Pokemon game that I've ever played. I think it is really good. It's also nostalgia, of course, for Gen 4, or for more so for Sinnoh, but I think it's a really good game. Then you have Fire Red, Leaf Green together, Black and White together, Soul Silver, Heart Gold, Soul Silver together, Emerald separate from Ruby and Sapphire, and Legends Arceus I would all put an A. Fire Red, Leaf Green, like Fire Red, Leaf Green, Black and White and Soul Silver Heart Gold, whatever, right, is kind of just, it's this, the gameplay between the two versions of the games is kind of the same, right? So that's why I'm, you know, only putting one, but they apply to both. Then in B tier, I have Diamond and Pearl, Black and White 2, and then Pokemon XLY I think would be over here. And then in the C tier, I have Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield, Ultra Moon, and Sun, and, you know, Gen 7 at the bottom. Sorry, apologies. Anyways, that is my ranking. Let me know your thoughts. If you are a Poke fan, let me know your thoughts on if anything I said is crazy. Maybe I just need to revisit a lot of these games to get a more up-to-date opinion of them. Because, for example, I haven't played Gen 7 in, like, how long? It came out in 2017, I think. At least haven't played them in 6 years. Maybe even 7 years. I haven't played those games in so long. So maybe I need a refresh on some of these. Anyways, thank you all for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.